Hi beautiful souls, and welcome back to Life with Aryanna Nightingale. Today is the 25th of February 2026 and it is my greatest honour and privilege as always to bring you my spiritual awakening and life story. Today I'd like to share with you all something deeply personal to me, my journey with cannabis and where I am now with it. Before my healing journey began, I was completely against cannabis. I tried it once when I was 17. I smoked way too much. I completely wiped myself out, vomiting all over myself. It was absolutely humiliating. And just on that point there, guys, I just want to say that the last new moon, I did that to myself as well. So this is something I will talk to you about at the beginning of my next video before I go into ceremony. That experience stayed with me for years, and I told myself that I would never touch it again. I judged it, I feared it, I associated it with losing control and feeling exposed. And for a long time, that was my truth. But what I didn't know back then is that life would eventually bring it back into my world. Not as a party drug, but as a part of a much deeper healing journey. And that contrast is important because this is something I never grew up wanting. It wasn't a habit I formed early, and it wasn't part of my identity. It entered my life for a reason, and now I am redefining my relationship with it. For anyone that's been following my recent videos, you will know that I have made a commitment to stop smoking cannabis full time. There was a time in my life when I was living in excruciating and relentless pain. Cannabis was an amazing pain relief for that emotional and physical pain. It made me feel deeper than I ever thought possible, and it was the best pain relief I've ever had. And in that season, I used it as a tool to cope for what my heart and body were going through. Instead of spending another 35 years numbed by pharmaceutical medication that never worked for me, I chose a different path. I chose to believe in my body, and I chose to believe in the ability to heal myself. Because I was willing to do the work, listen deeply, I am no longer in that level of pain, physically or emotionally. And I've had to be honest with myself. There comes a time when something that once felt supportive no longer serves you. And for me, daily use is no longer aligned with the person that I am becoming. It is habit, it's overuse, and it's attachment. There is a difference between using something intentionally and letting something use you. This has not been easy for me to admit or to do. And I realize where I am in my life now that I cannot have it around constantly and expect to moderate. It hasn't worked for me in the past, and I truly believe giving it up completely was my only option. But what I am learning is this. It's about awareness, about alignment, and about choosing consciously instead of coping unconsciously. So this is me choosing differently, not from shame, not from guilt, but from strength. And if you are on your own journey with whatever that may be, know that it's okay to reassess. It's okay to evolve, and it's okay to change your relationship with things as you change yourself. We are allowed to outgrow what once carried us through or what doesn't serve us or feel good anymore. I have found a way to still honor my time with the medicine because that's what I truly believe it is, regardless of anybody else's opinion. Isn't it interesting when we get pulled over for a roadside drug test that we are not screened for things like Valium, Seroquel, Xanax, or any of the other prescription opioids, which are extremely powerful, mind-altering substances and are prescribed by the doctor every single day. The doctor had me on all of them plus more. We're even allowed to have alcohol in our system, which is a poison, and yet a natural plant that grows from the earth, one that many people experience as deeply healing, liberating, restorative, freeing, cleansing, soothing, and therapeutic, is treated in an entirely different way. It certainly raises questions about how we define safety, legality, and what we class as acceptable. I have found a way to control my intake and be intentional with my medicine. I have bought myself a time lock safe. It cost me $50 on Amazon, and it is in there until the full moon. I cannot open it. It says on the screen when I touch it that I have 5 days, 21 hours and 26 minutes left until the time safe opens up. After receiving the time lock safe and finding out how easy it was to use, I placed my order with Whole Life Pharmacy on the 11th of February. Usually it takes 5 days to arrive in Perth, but this time it turned up in record time on the 13th of February, right on my doorstep for Valentine's Day. So I decided to give myself a Valentine's gift, not out of habit, not out of impulse, but out of awareness. It was about choosing consciously after I had put boundaries in place. After deciding that I would no longer let something control me. For the first time, I was going to use the medicine intentionally. What unfolded on that day taught me so much about discipline and self-control. Valentine's Day isn't only about romantic love. Sometimes it's about the love we have for ourselves, the promises we keep, the boundaries we honour, the awareness that we practice, and this Valentine's Day was about that for me. So I want to share with you all my Valentine's Day story. I woke at 5:30 before the world was busy, before the noise, and before any distractions. I walked outside and watched the sun rise while listening to a prayer. This is something that I've only just started doing, and I am slowly becoming more comfortable with it. Growing up, I was taught that God didn't exist, that my feelings didn't matter. I was to be seen and not heard. I was to follow orders and to be obedient. I was taught that people that believed in God or prayed were loonies. And if I dared believe anything other than what my father believed, I was punished for it. So I learned to stay quiet. I learned to silence my voice because believing out loud came with consequences. So praying is something that I didn't know how to do, but I have learned along my journey just how powerful it is. So I turned to YouTube because that is my learning portal, and somehow there is always one there just waiting for me. After that, I came back inside and sat on the back deck with my medicine. And in the next 20 minutes, something shifted. It had been 19 days since I had had any cannabis. And I sat there feeling deeply grateful for my life. Not in a dramatic way, not in a positive forced thinking way, just a quiet, steady gratitude. I was enjoying the medicine, but differently than I ever had before. I felt more peaceful, more present, and more aware than I ever remember feeling. As I sat there watching the beautiful green of the ocean and the white sand on the island behind it, the catamaran sailing across the water, and all the trees in their beauty and colours surrounding me. Everything felt so alive. I came back inside to grab my phone to see what my message from my staff family was, and I got this. This was extremely unexpected. I had never got anything like this before. I had never got just an image. I started to laugh, not a polite laugh, not a small controlled laugh. I laughed like I never laughed before. It felt so good, even though I realized I still didn't know how to laugh properly. The muscles in my body that are used for laughing have been used very little in my life. There wasn't any laughter in our house when we were kids. Smiling was barely allowed, let alone joy. Everything always felt so serious, tight and heavy, just waiting for the next big explosion. So when this laughter came out of me, free, unplanned, rising up from somewhere deep inside me, it felt incredible. There have been a few unmistakable signs along my journey, but this one and one other that I will talk to you in another story for another day have touched my heart and soul more than any of the others. Then I went inside to receive my verbal message from my star family, and something unexpected happened again. I always go to my homepage and get the most recent message, but at the top it said most relevant, and I listened. The message was from September, not new or not current, which was very unusual. But in that moment, it was exactly what I needed to hear, as always, and just a quiet confirmation that I'm exactly where I need to be. I have attached a copy of my message for anybody that is called to listen. What a wonderful way to start my Valentine's Day. From there, I got on my scooter and went to the shop and bought all my favourite food. There are two downsides to smoking or vaping cannabis, which is what I do. Smoking it on a full-time basis is not good for you, and you do not get the benefits that you should get out of the medicine. And also for me, it gives me the munchies and I can't control my eating. So I end up feeling very overfull for the day. So this is a great way for me to be able to control my medicine and use it intentionally. For the rest of the day, I allowed myself to simply be. I sat around without guilt. I ate my favorite food slowly, enjoying every bite. Maybe the chocolate not so slowly. I sat around and binge watched Sweet Magnolias, letting myself be wrapped up in something soothing and comforting. I listened to my favorite soul music and danced. There was no rushing, no striving, no needing to be anywhere else. As the day drew to a close, I watched the sun set, the sky soften, the colours change, and I stood there giving thanks for the beautiful, peaceful day that I had just experienced. It was one of the best Valentine's days that I've ever had, and I was completely alone, but I didn't feel alone. I felt whole, I felt present, and I felt deeply connected to myself, to the day, and to the life I am building. And that to me is what love really is. If this resonates with you in any way, I would truly love to know. Please let me know what you did on Valentine's Day. Whether you spent it with someone special, with friends, with family, or just on your own like I did. I would truly love to hear your story, because love shows up in so many different ways and every one of them matters. For anyone that is watching this on Facebook and would like to know more about my story, please head over to my YouTube channel, Life with Aryanna Nightingale. And there is an intro video there which tells you a little bit about where I've been and where I'm going. I feel so unbelievably blessed to be able to share my journey with you all. And on the next video, filmed on the 3rd of March under the energies of the full moon, I will be doing my first ceremony on camera with the medicine. If you feel called to do this sort of work, please, I invite you to join me. The video should be live by the 5th of March. There is something sacred about allowing myself to be seen in such a vulnerable space. I never know what will rise to be healed or what the experience will unfold into. And that's the beauty of it. I am just willing to show up, be present, and allow it to unfold. Today I'd like to leave you all with some headstands. This is something that I have been doing for quite a while now. Headstands are great for building up that strength in your neck, also for your core strength and for getting the energy moving up the opposite way in your body. So please come and join me. We're up.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane.
started doing these against a wall. When I first started, I had hundreds of falls before I stayed up.
Dreamy, breezy, we go.
Gotta remember, guys, I'm 58 years young. The doctors had me in a wheelchair 5 years ago. I don't think so. Woo!
Cover, agents of the other.
Really good way to get that energy flowing up the opposite way of your body. Give this a go at home. Get up against a wall. Start slowly.
Building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand.
Woo.
As willows align, we lose track of time. Head up high, now we climb.
Woo.
Give that a go at home. It's just something else to do with your body. Guys, until the next video, filmed under the energies of the full moon, and we're going to go into ceremony with the medicine. I am very excited and nervous at the same time. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.
Beyond gravel, beyond dawn. A bigger scale, the world.